So what attracted me to ethnomusicology? When I was ending high school, I knew I wanted a liberal arts education, but I wanted to be a rock musician. And in the 1980s, you couldn't do that. There was only one place where you could study rock music as part of a commercial music program, and I didn't even know it existed. I had to take a course in ethnomusicology as part of my music major at Wesleyan University, and the first day I walked in and the professor said that ethnomusicology was the study of any music anywhere in the world. And I was a bumptious undergraduate, and I said, really, can you study rock music? And the professor said, well, not a lot of people do, but there's no reason you couldn't. And I was completely disarmed, and I fell in love with the field. And I went on to study American popular musics, including heavy metal and rock and jazz, as well as a bunch of other things. But I did my graduate here at Indiana under the supervision of Ruth Stone. And I had a wonderful experience in graduate school. Ruth Stone introduced me to phenomenology, which is a tradition of continental European philosophy that has taken over my life. I'm deeply committed to the tradition of phenomenology. I studied with Richard Bauman here, where I learned performance theory and folkloristics, and I consider myself to be as much a folklorist as an ethnomusicologist. And I also learned about Marxism from Roger Jennie, and Roger Jennie turned me on to the role of political economy in social life, and that's been a very large part of my career as well. So Indiana has been a central place for me. I feel very lucky to have been here and lucky to be here for this conference. You know, being here at Indiana, where ethnomusicology and folklore are tightly linked, was really valuable. I love music, I love ethnomusicology. One of the great strengths of folklore is folklore draws our attention to any possible form of expressive culture and the interactions between those kinds of expressive culture. So that being a folklorist and an ethnomusicologist, I mean, I love music, I care about music, I play music, but folklore studies help me to look for everything else that's going on in people's lives. And so that's a great opportunity. And at Memorial, it's the other place in North America where ethno and folklore are tightly mixed. So it's been great to be at both of those places where we get to think about music. We also get to think about material culture and belief and narrative and other kinds of verbal art. So having those things together has been really valuable. My first major ethnographic project was an ethnography of 4 musical communities in Northeast Ohio. Commercial hard rock musicians, African American jazz musicians, white jazz musicians, and most importantly, heavy metal musicians. And I did a book on those 4 communities, and I was interested in how people organize attention to elements of their experience and performance, and how they pay attention to other musicians and audiences, and how consciousness circulates in performance. I've done for the heavy metal strain of my research, with a couple of colleagues, I did an edited book on heavy metal around the world. I have a theoretical strain of my research, so I did a book on questions of identity in everyday life with my colleague, Joanna Del Negro. I did a theory book on the nature of musical experience called Stance. I currently direct the Research Center for the Study of Music, Media, and Place, and we do a lot of public engagement projects. We do CDs, we do public-facing music festivals, we do and academic work as well. Just this year, we partnered with Sing Song Records, an independent record label in Newfoundland and Labrador, as well as the Newfoundland and Labrador Federation of Labor and the Extension Department from St. Xavier University to produce a CD about music and work in the province of Newfoundland and Labrador. There's plenty of union songs and songs about labor struggles, but there's also songs about music and subsistence farming, music and domestic work, music and disability, music and retirement. So we try to take a very broad vision of all the ways that we use music to think about labor. The disc has tracks in a couple indigenous languages, in English, in Gaelic, in French. It's a very diverse project and it's really exciting to work on. Working with Ruth Stone as a graduate student was super exciting. She turned me on to those literatures, Richard Bauman, Roger Jennie. Indiana was just an incredibly exciting place to be, going to the field for the first time and discovering ethnography and talking to people about their lives. It's an incredible honor. People let you into their lives if they let you in, and you get to find out their experiences and why music matters to them and the issues that are happening in all parts of their experience. I taught at Texas A&M for 20 years, and we built a graduate program there, a master's program in performance studies, and worked with many fine colleagues. And 3 years ago, I moved up to Memorial, Working on these public engagement projects at Memorial has been great. One of the highlights for me at Memorial, we were able to do a conference on phenomenology and ethnomusicology. We had 18 scholars in from all over the world. It's an incredible opportunity to have the chance to bring people in to sit in a room for 2.5 days and talk about the nature of musical experience and how we can use music to get at bigger issues about social life. So those are some highlights. We always have 6 or 7 projects on the go at the center at any particular moment. We've got a CD coming out very soon on music of the Gros Morne region of Newfoundland, which is a fascinating musical tradition. We're going to be developing some new conferences soon. I'm doing a big edited book on phenomenology and ethnomusicology, starting another monograph that's a little in the early stages to talk about, but we have always lots and lots of projects. And we have a great cohort, a really first-rate cohort of colleagues as well as graduate students, and it's great to have the opportunity to work with them. I really believe that ethnomusicology is important. I had a friend who, when asked why she wanted to be an ethnomusicologist, she flippantly said, "It's inside work with no heavy lifting," which was a good line, but she was joking, and I think anyone who's in the field really believes that it has an important mission. People don't just live their lives. People live their lives, and they think about those lives, and they think about what works and what doesn't work, and how they're being exploited, and how they're exploiting others, and what is meaningful and what isn't meaningful, and what was once meaningful but isn't now, or what could be meaningful. One of the ways that people think those things through with others is music. And being able to use music as an entrance into every other element of people's lives, that's what ethnomusicology does. And in our very best work, you get to dip your toe into 1,000 little social worlds, 1,000 little universes where people are having their experience, and music is the entrance there. So that's what's so valuable, I think, about our